All right, so chapter 15, a scout identity. So this starts off with a bang. It talks about someone who experienced a paranormal experience and then dedicated herself to be a scientist when it comes to the paranormal in general. But in the end, she was never able to replicate, you know, any of those paranormal experiences. She got so into it, but then she realized, you know what, deep down, she felt that she was wrong. There was something wrong. And she ended up switching, you know. So that is a scout identity, because she was like, well, in the end, before I'm a paranormal psychologist or whatnot, I am a scientist, and these results are telling me that I'm wrong. This is not something that is real, and I might have been wrong this whole time. And that's the idea of being a scout. Alright, so in the next section, we go back to Pastor Joshua Harris, who he wrote a book, I Kissed Dating Goodbye, and then yeah, he realized that there were a lot of people who kind of got into his book and it really screwed up their lives and everything about it. So what he did is he actually went to college, and instead of being the man with all the answers, he became a student who is seeking, who has with lots of questions, and he became, and then he decided to discontinue the publication of his book afterwards. So he kissed his book goodbye, literally. But what's interesting is that last chapter we were talking about identity and having, maybe not having too many identities because it limits you. And Julia is pushing the fact that a scout mindset is a great identity to have because it keeps your other identities in check, right? It's kind of like the enforcer, or maybe it's like just like how our government in America, we have three branches of government, checks and balances. So I think if scout mindset is, an identity that we pride ourselves in, and we use scout mindset to make judgments on our other beliefs, and it's used to regulate our thinking process and our paradigm and the way that we look at the world, then it's, well, to me, I feel like there is a lot of pros for this, and I wonder if there's any cons, but let's go into the pros first. One is constant updates. So when you're in scout mindset, you never take anything for granted. You're always looking into the details. You're always, updating yourself with reality. You're always looking at things, and you're flexible, and you're able to. To me, I feel like this is a default thing for me, because I feel like in order to get along with humanity, to get along with other people, to be able to see things from their point of view, to be able to be okay with criticism, to be okay with, gosh, people disagreeing and stuff like that, that it's always best to be able to be flexible, to switch sides, to see things from another person's view, to adopt a sort of duality in a way, so that when we argue, it's not like I sound like a Democrat, actually somebody who hates Democrats, but I'm pretending to be a Democrat, but to actually sound like, no, like this is something that I can really put myself behind. I can really get emotionally invested into it, and I'm not taking it as a joke. I'm taking it seriously, and I understand you, or I understand what's going on, instead of playing it down and looking down on it. In a weird way, scout mindset, the thing about scout mindset is that there is also something that's very interesting about it, is that if you take pride in having scout mindset, this might be the con, then it's also another way to feel more superior than other people, because you're like, well, yeah, I have the ability to change my mind. I have the ability to see things that, other people are restricted in seeing. I think an underlying thing about it is that there is kind of like a superiority complex that can be formed from this as well. Because you're like, well, I can see everything. I'm both sides, mother effer, right? So that's, it's very boss, you know? And I know this because there is a part of me that I know is a narcissist. I'm very aware of it. I'm very aware of the fact that there are things that I I take pride in and I feel good about myself. Sometimes, yeah, I'll feel like I'm better, like I'm a better person. I will feel that way. Um, but what's funny is that I think recently, it's really crazy, is that I've actually been putting myself down, you know, um, and I used to think winning was everything. I think when I first was in my relationship with my wife, I thought that winning was everything. If I had a point, I had to overpower her, or I had to prove myself right, prove her wrong. But I quickly realized that never really helped anything. In the end, what is the main goal? What is the main goal even if you do have scout mindset? So what if you're able to discern and update, and you can pick apart your own biases, or you're able to be more, you can see the truth more clearly. Like, Julia states that you enjoy the rewards, a happier life, or whatever. Is that really the case? Is it really, just that? Because I feel like there's different ways that people can actually use this, and it can be dangerous just as it is helpful. If somebody can play to both sides of an argument, they can easily play an Emperor Palpatine or a Darth Sidious. They can use it for their own benefit. They can use it to rise in ranks and gain power, to have people on all sides, be on their case, and they can literally manipulate things a lot more because they're not one-sided. There's power from this idea. you know if you're able to convince other people that you're on their side, and you're not, and you're using it for your own ploy or your own advantage or whatever, and that's one way that it can be done. It really is. It could also be used so that you could feel superior. You can lord it over other people. You can get more of what you want. you know and because I think with anything as powerful as this, and this is, I truly believe this is a powerful kind of concept. Politicians may not be attracted to this idea because they think that their way of doing things is probably, well, they're set on their way. And it's like what my friend Michael said: when you think you're right, that's when education ends, right? So I honestly think that Scout Mindset, it has a lot of good to it, but it also has a lot of bad to it. If there was a movie, for example, of two people who use Scout Mindset, one for an evil purpose, one for a good purpose, it would be one hell of a movie. Definitely. But that's the thing. It's powerful. But what matters is how people use it, and what could come from it. Sometimes the road to hell is paved by good intentions. Like, what's interesting is that I'm pretty sure that this book was created so that people could use this to empower them, and for life to be better, for people to gain more insight and have a healthier, happier life. In the same respect, yeah, it can be used with the same amount of power, but be used for other things. It can be used in bad ways. So It's like what they say about guns, right? Guns don't kill other people, people do. If you had guns but people didn't exist, then basically guns would just be laying around. Nothing would happen. Guns itself is not evil. It's people who take things and turn them evil. And this is powerful information. I don't know who might be listening to me right now. I don't know if you're probably, because my name is Successful Thinker, and because, I'm doing a audio video about success, I'm pretty sure that the people who are listening to this right now, if there are any, are people who are maybe striving for success and things. For me, I think that it's always important that when you do think about success, you have to really understand what is true success for you. And in my opinion, because I have been the bad guy, I know how it's like, but I've also been the good guy in many, I don't know, scenarios or whatever. And for me, I honestly feel like helping other people, feeling that you're actually contributing and things go well, you know, like they'll, you know, that's the best way. Cooperation, collaboration, teamwork, coming together, helping each other, not dividing ourselves into tribes that war with each other. To me, that's the best feeling. When you one up somebody, I also know the feeling of like, ha ha ha, like, yeah, I cut off this guy in traffic. That guy, he deserved it. I know that feeling as well. And I know there's both sides. There really is. And in the end, if I were to give advice to whoever might be listening to this, I don't know if you're older or younger, my age or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I would say that chances are, if you're also reading this book, if you're also listening to this, and if you're hearing me and you're still following me here, that you have good intentions and you do want things to be good. You want the world to be a better place. That's what I think. I may be wrong, but I feel like that's where you are. And in a weird way, you're where I am right now. We're at the same place. And I think the most important thing to recognize at this point, when it comes to this idea, is asking the question, how do you get the maximum benefit out of it, utilitarian wise? But no, how do you maximize this information? And assuming that, you're a good person, you have to ask yourself, how can having better judgment, how can having this attitude make my life better? How can it improve what I'm already doing? What is it that I may need to relook? All of that. I think that's really important. We all manipulate and control our lives to some extent. And I feel like it's important to ask that question, to know what's perfect for you. What's perfect for you today may be different than tomorrow, or the week after, or the month after, or the year after. So I feel like if I were to add something to this, I would say, Scout Mindset is powerful because you constantly update yourself about the world around you. But I think equally, you should be very aware of who you are internally, right? Information about yourself, your own predilections, your own preferences, your own evolution, what's going on internally as you get older, as you age, as you transform from one state to another, whether it being from teenager to adult, or an adult to middle-aged, or middle-aged to being older. And yeah, I'm also counting on future me to probably be listening to this. So yeah, you listen to Future Successful Thinker. But just don't forget. Don't forget that everything's in flux. And just be aware of things, how they are. And when it comes to judgment, why I started this book in the first place. Just be aware that judgment, everything you do today, it's going to affect you tomorrow, next week, next year, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Every single detail, everything that you do. And the reason why you're reading this book, the reason why you're going through this is because you're searching for wisdom. And yeah, you may be rambling sometimes, and yeah, you might be searching for ideas. Maybe you sound really weird to yourself now listening back to it. Because you're seeing me search, you're seeing me kind of discover these ideas. But everything counts. Every decision counts. And this is all about making better judgment. So that whether it's when I'm 80, 90, maybe 100, doesn't matter. I'll be in a better place then because of now. Because of what I did now. Because of what I said to myself now. Because of the decisions that I made now. Because of all the things that I've learned and I've researched and I've pondered and that I've updated myself with in order to decide what is best for me and for my own life, health-wise, philosophy-wise, socialize in a social way. One day I will die. I don't know when that is going to be. It might even be tomorrow. I don't know. And if it's the case that it's tomorrow and I never live to be 60, 70, 80, 90, or 100, at least I know that I have this audio video here for someone. And hopefully you're the right person, you know, who can take these ideas that have been evolved as, you know, as I stand on the shoulders of giants, just to see a little bit further, and hopefully it'll help you. There was a point in my life where I wanted to be revolutionary. I wanted to change my country, the Philippines. I wanted it to be really good, much better place. And it's hard. It's hard because the Philippines is a developing country. You know, but I always wanted to help my people, you know, in a good way. To make them better. To make it so that we can also be powerful. We can contribute to society, the world. We can make things better. It's something that I wanted. And I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I know it's a lot more work than meets the eye. It's a lot more work. And who knows what will happen in the future? Who knows? Many things can happen. Many, many random things. But you know what? All we have, like right now, at this moment, what we do have is we have a tool that can help us discern, a tool that can help us make better judgment calls. And everything we did, that led up to now is what made us who we are right now. Everything we're going to do is going to lead up to who we end up being. Just make sure you own your life. You really question yourself what you really want to do, and you go for it. I'm 34 right now. I'll be 35 in a couple of months. Some people die when they're double my age. Some people don't even make it that far. We don't know where things will go. In the end, though, I'm happy that I made this. I made this audio. I'm happy that it's causing me to think. It's causing me to think deeper. To ask myself questions that I never asked myself before. And to possibly even, while I'm on this journey as a student, to help other people who are like-minded, who also want to get better in life and produce more or optimize. I was talking earlier about my friend who said that perfection is in flux, never really changes. Well, if it's in flux, the only way you can capture perfection is if you acknowledge that right now is perfect. And I know that sounds weird because nothing is obviously perfect, but this is as perfect as it's going to be because that's all we have right now. If you wanted a good idea of what perfection means in general, as a concept, I would say, and this is my perception of perfection, perfection exists in another plane, not ours. Not ours. Either it's now that things are perfect, or perfection is the extent to which one's imagination can optimize any given concept. Basically, perfection exists outside our plane. Or, since we're only here as we are, this is all we've got is now. Perfection is... Sorry if I sound all New Age and Eckhart Tolle, but everything's already perfect. Everything as it is. Because the decisions that we made before, that we wanted to do, it brought us to where we are now. Even if your life is shit, though. Yeah, that's highly contestable. Maybe it is better to always think that perfection's in the future. A future that we have yet to behold. Still, though, I'm grateful for everything that I've got. For me, maybe it's being delusional a little bit or whatnot, but because I'm here, because I exist, the fact that I'm sentient, that I'm alive, and that I'm experiencing all that the world has to offer, whether it be depression or euphoria, it's perfect. Having both sides is what makes life so perfect. With that, I'm going to take a break for today. I usually don't have two parts for things. I usually finish it up in kind of like just one chapter. But I feel like this was a good talk. this was a good kind of like tangent where I go off and I think about things. I think about the future. I think about what this book means, and I explore in my mind out loud. In public, I guess, in a weird way, as public as this might be. But anyways, though, for future me, and for other people who are listening, hi, I'm here. I'm alive. Well, at least right now, at this moment, I am. I'm glad you're listening to me. I really am. I don't know what kind of value you're gonna get from this, but I hope it helps. I really do. And special message for older me: take care of yourself, okay? Just like how I'm taking care of you now. Taking care of you by thinking about these things and reading this book and doing everything. Don't stop. I hope you haven't stopped learning. I don't know how old you are now, but I hope you haven't stopped learning. And I hope you don't have all the answers. I hope you have good answers, though, for a lot of questions that I might still have. I hope you have really good answers. Things that I could probably not even imagine right now, where you are, or what you're doing, or what's happened of your life. And I don't know if your life at this point is bad because of misfortune or luck or anything. I don't know why you're listening to this. Maybe you need a boost in morale. Maybe you want to listen to your younger self so that you can feel proud. Maybe you want to share this with a student of yours or something. Maybe. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for living to be where you are right now. Thank you for surviving for whatever you've had to survive. Thank you for continuing to breathe, for your heart to continue beating. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for prolonging me as I am now and carrying me into the future and doing good work with what it is that you do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for, in a weird way, honoring your past self and not looking down on me. I hope you're not. But I hope you are, but I hope you're not. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. You are me. So I think you get it. I think you do. So with that said, I'm going to end this in-depth analysis. It's only really a small chunk of the actual book. But hey, in the end, have a great day. Have a great day. Make it as perfect as you can make it. I know you're going to be great. I know that, you continue doing what it is that you're doing. You're going to get somewhere. Never lose hope. And never forget, you can only do what you're capable of doing right now. And that is way more than enough. Alright, have a good one. And for now, looking at me now, see you later when I get to where you are. I am you. For the audience members, excuse me for being kind of silly, but alright, successful thinker. Go out there and kick ass.